Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. I'm Brendan Lee. I'm temporarily moved here, just switching location because we have apprentices now, so I'm getting transitioned over to life with apprentices on site. So things are a little bit up in the air. Don't worry, I'm going to keep producing content. This one comes from the forum. This is about being a teacher and a facilitator, and we'll see where it goes. So from the forum, thanks for writing in. I've been working with people, so somebody wrote in. They've been working with people and trying to get them more conscious, yeah, and free. And some people seem to be more open and responsive, or should I say responsible, while others not so much. How does it look? It looks to be that way. Some people are open to it, some people aren't. Some people are responsible, some people are not. And I also make a distinction between being open to doing that kind of work and responsible. Responsible doesn't necessarily mean, that they're going to be doing consciousness work. They can be responsible for other stuff. So that's another story. Some people actually listen to me, being willing to check with themselves what I am proposing or suggesting. Others feel that they already know and simply try to use my teaching to reinforce their already held beliefs. Okay? Of course, it would seem that as a teacher, my agenda should be to help everyone I meet. I find, however, that taking this sort of position... Anyway. I was wondering how you deal with this dilemma. If also you come across it. I was wondering if you figured out the true way to move with this. I wanted to ask for your help. Now, I'm not exactly sure what is being asked here, but I get a sense of a potential challenge. And as far as I can tell, I think, and I've seen this before, and I think it's, I have this cool stuff, I want to be able to share it with everybody, or, I understand something about consciousness, let me share, because I think it's badass. And then you go ahead and share, but nobody gives a fuck. Say. Or some people don't give a shit. And then how do you deal with the dilemma of people not giving a shit? Well, first thing I would say is, don't make it a dilemma. If you don't want to have a dilemma, don't make it a problem that people don't care because they don't. That's, I guess, the main thing. As far as I can tell, people don't give a shit about consciousness work. They don't give a shit about what's true. Just generally, and what I mean by that is it's not a wrong or bad thing. It's just the way it is. It's not like if you look at people in the world, what are we doing? What are we doing? Are we trying to grasp what's true, or are we managing life? And it's not like they're exclusive. You can still manage life and work on becoming conscious of what's true. But by and large, we're trying to stay alive, essentially. Survive. Be a person. Go for good things and avoid bad things. Like at the core, that's what we're up to, you see? And that has nothing to do with what's true, ultimately. And, okay, what's ultimately true is whatever's ultimately true, and who cares? So you said also... What is the true way? What did you say? I was wondering if you figured out the true way to move with this. I wanted to ask for your help. So this problem, I want to rip you off of the true way. There is true, and are you confusing true with right and correct? This is a mistake. There is no true way. What way is there any way that is true? Now so I'm going to pick on the word true. Now maybe there's a language problem, but I want to confront you with this idea of true or right or true even. Look, you can go through the world and act like Hitler. You could. Is that true? It's one way to go. You could go through the world and act like Gandhi or Mother Teresa. Both are a way to go through the world. Both are ways of relating to the world, and neither are like what? Is one truer than the other? You could be like a Stalin, or you could be like Steve Jobs, or you could be like the local waiter at the coffee shop, or you could be like, it doesn't matter. See, there's billions of ways to do it. Now, which way is the true one? There are billions of people on the planet doing it their own way. Which way is true? There is no true way. True. Now, what do you mean when you say true? Do you mean right? Do you mean correct? Do you mean the best way? Well, what way is? So now maybe you mean that. Maybe you mean that. Is Hitler doing a good thing? Well, thank God he's not doing anything now. Okay? Fucking asshole. Responsible for killing lots and lots of people. What a dick. Is that a good way to go? I say no. For him, he says yes. It's fucked up, but for him, it worked. For me, no. For most people, he's a dick. See? Now, is there anything true? So did he do it wrong? Well, that's a perspective. Generally speaking, yes. I would just say flat out, yeah, he was wrong to do what he did. He did a bad thing. Many bad things. Not good. But he still did them. And at the end of the day, he lived, did that shit, died. You know? So, but then if you're thinking about true as effective, then, maybe it's a language thing. It's like, then know what it is you're talking about. So I don't know what you mean when you say true, okay? If you mean effective, well, then you'd have to, effective again is determined not just by the act itself, but by how the act is in relationship to whatever it's relating to. You see, so if I want to be, effective at keeping the house clean, effectiveness means I clean the house. Non-effectiveness means I don't clean the house. But if I am looking to do the least amount of work, then cleaning the house is not effective. You see, so just in a basic sense, like effectiveness versus non-effectiveness is it's relative. And again, there's nothing true about being effective. Like ultimately true. Like what's actually true about effectiveness? Well, effectiveness is essentially made up and it's in relationship to what it's about. So it's a relationship. Is there anything true about that relationship? Well, no, because it could be some this way, that way, this way, that way. It doesn't matter what way it is. It can be many ways. So what is the true way? See, we don't know. All right. So now you might be asking, it sounds to me, again, I'm reading between the lines, I'm making assumptions, or I'm trying to get where you're coming from when you write this, because I don't know necessarily, just by your writing, I should probably clarify. I'm just throwing some things out there in an attempt to assist. Likely you're probably running into, well, people aren't accepting my help, or people don't, I want to help them, I need to help them, or whatever, and they don't care, and so I'm conflicted because I should help all people. Well, if you should help all people, and then you're going to go ahead and do that, they might not want to talk to you. And then you're like, how do I deal with this problem? Like, well, it just depends on how you want to relate to it, I guess. If you wanted to live in a world where you are somehow a teacher who is going to be all helping everybody, then I guess you better get about doing that. And you might be, and if you think all people should be conscious and they're not now, then you're in for a life of pain. Because people aren't very conscious, generally speaking. They don't, and nor do they care, nor should they be conscious. Who said all beings should be conscious? Well, I guess, maybe Buddha said that somewhere. It's like, that's my mission, to help all people, And that's in there. But for me, it just depends on how it is you want to live. Let me put it that way. How do you want to live? What kind of peace of mind do you want? All right. Now, if you want a certain peace of mind, figure out how to create that for yourself. And I'll give you a hint. If you want peace, you have to be at peace. If you make your peace of mind determined by an external circumstance, then guess what? You must always control external circumstance. And there's a lot of fucking external circumstances that's out of your control. All right? So you're going to be doing a shitload of work trying to manage all the shit that you can't control, quote unquote. Now, if you really want peace, you find peace in the middle of violence. Like, that's the real deal. That's the kind of peace nobody can take away from you. So if you want that, you can do that. All right? The other thing, like I said at the beginning of the video, don't make it a problem. As I go through the world, yeah, you figure it the fuck out. Okay? All right. Another thing, just throwing it out there, just saying. I have seen, and I've done this, when I was younger, I knew everything. Okay? And then I wanted to share my knowledge. And now as I get older and perhaps a little more mature and, have a greater depth of understanding of things, I see young guys who they know. And one of the things that I think would serve younger people is if they shut the fuck up for a while and learned for a while before trying to impart all their worldly wisdom, because as far a lot of young guys, they don't know shit. So there's that side of it. Now, I was young once, I get it. And if you continue, my guess is if you continue being honest with yourself and honest with others and really honest, you'll start to learn perhaps that you don't know as much as you thought you did. And that'll open some doors for you to learn more. And the more you learn, perhaps the more you'll be able to relate to people in ways that you want, in ways that are empowering to them, and also in ways like you can understand perhaps better how to relate to people that is effective and maybe does even help them become conscious, but you don't go about it in a way that turns them off to it, or you don't, it's more of an invitation to a perspective rather than like, I know everything and let me share you with what I know and wow you and bedazzle you with my knowledge. And it's more like, hey, have you thought of this? And then just let them figure it out, because it very much seems to be that way. It's like people have to find their own way. And in this work anyway. And there's no way to help somebody that's not willing. So that's another thing, over the years. It's like, oh, if somebody's not willing, they don't want it. And so why push it? Because it just tends to be cause for upset, or it's like imposing a way of thinking on somebody else. And I'm not, yeah. It doesn't seem as good. Now, you figure it out. Maybe you can just tell them. You can make them get it. You can make them think the way, consciousness or whatever. But, it's a shit show. As far as I can tell, people are a shit show. You ever looked at a person? You ever looked at your own mind? Yeah? You ever really looked deep into your own mind and seen how fucking weird that is, or can be, how insane it is? And the more I get real with myself, the more I have, I don't know, maybe a compassion for others, but the compassion doesn't necessarily look nice, all right? Compassion doesn't necessarily, it's not all sparkly, it's not happy, it's not necessarily pleasant, might be compassionate, but I bet Jesus, as Peter might say, and makes sense to me, it's like Jesus turning the tables over and screaming at people to get the fuck out of his temple might have been a compassionate move, and it's not doesn't necessarily look good, but it serves people. So I think that perhaps now getting to the question, just that had me think of the question that you, or at least the headline on the forum post, it's like, what's the role of a teacher and facilitator? It's to serve people. It is to, and like when it comes to teaching, from my Marshall experience, I want to get you good as I can, as quick as I can. Your skill level goes up. You learn the things that you need to learn to give you the most power, the most skill, the most effectiveness, the deepest understanding, the fastest. Yeah? And I do what needs to be done to get that to happen by serving the people. I have to look at the people and work with them, not what I think kind of thing, but like them. Peter is going off with the apprentices last night. It's like, no, them, not you, them. Yeah. So service. And then as the role of a facilitator, consciousness, getting people conscious, I can't do that. They can do that. So facilitator is like representing the work, being in such a way so that people grasp for themselves what the fuck's going on. And that's tricky. Teaching, like teaching martial arts, that's in my mind easier, much easier. There's still a skill to it. Like you can't overshare. If you do too much too quickly, people, blah, 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 you have to work with what's there and then draw them out and, get them going. But facilitating is like, and then they are the author of their own growth. And that's how all that works. I mean, the same with the martial. It's like that they have to do the training, the thinking, they have to make the breakthroughs. But in terms of people becoming conscious of what's true, they have to get what's true. You can't tell people what's true. I mean, you can, but then it runs the high risk of they'll just believe in the work, or believe what somebody said. There's just a belief about it, and that doesn't do it. The belief is not it. And so that's challenging. Okay? So what's the role of a teacher and facilitator? To serve the people so that they become conscious, or they become skillful, or they grasp something that they didn't have before. Okay? It's for them to have an insight, for them to make a breakthrough, for them to do it. And some of the best ways that you can empower others is by grasping shit yourself, becoming wise yourself, learning things yourself so that you can speak with authority, you can speak authentically, so that you don't have to operate out of a belief system for yourself because you're the author, because you've been there, and then speak on that. And then your words and your actions will have more of an impact than if it's just a belief for you. So that'd be another piece of advice and things to check out. All right. So cool. Okay. Thanks for writing in the forum. I appreciate it. If you want to, check the links in the description. It helps me generate content for you. Keep doing the work if you want. You're going to die. Okay? We're all fucking going to die. So how do you want to spend your life? That's the question. What do you want to do before your meat sack expires? Huh? You want to do some good shit? Then go do that. Okay? Much love. Take care. I'm Brendan Lee. See you in the next video. Bye. Oh, hey. Come to a fucking workshop. They're fucking up. They're really good. All right? They kick ass. And I just talk to some people who have done the workshops. The workshops are so good at their job. All right, they are not for if you just want to come over here and chill out and take it easy, don't come. All right, it's a workshop and we do work all day, but it's incredibly powerful. They're brutally honest. They will move you if you let them. Incredibly powerful work. You're invited. Check the links in the description. Navigate my website. Go over to Rollison's. Come on down. Okay? See ya.